Simon.
2 weeks.
Appreciate that, Simon.
A 36-year-old father of...
Okay, that was an update live from someone on the flotilla. If Simon can tell us who it is it Rima Hassan or someone else on the flotilla? Then that was that. We also, the tweet in the nest had a major update from the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla where Tiago Avila said, several vessels approached the Madeleine, causing us to set off the alarm. We will remain vigilant. Continue to have more information. As I said in there, they're about 100 nautical miles away from Gaza. Obviously, the thought is that the Israelis are going to apprehend them when they get closer to Gaza, so they claim that they're not in international waters. We know the game they're going to play. So this could be happening in the next, like, any time, really, basically. So watch out for that. Unfortunately, that's the case. We continue to get more information from Gaza. Okay. Okay, we've got some more information. I'm just going to post that in a second, but yeah, that's the latest.
Just while you post that, Suleiman, I just want to tell people. So, when I was in Gaza, we were stood on the balcony, me and a couple of other people who traveled with me, just talking. On the Saturday, which was our last evening there, we had a very short amount of time that we were allowed to be in there, in Gaza, and we had gunshots, right? And we looked over the balcony. We were on like the back of a veranda of a building, and we could see the sea from where we were. And what Israel does is, so they, and I saw this because we were taken to see it. They bombed and destroyed. And remember, guys, this was well before October the 7th, well before. So Israel had bombed and destroyed all the agriculture, where there used to be beautiful greenhouses and things growing and stuff. All of that was destroyed. The water is poisoned, and I'm telling you, it's poisoned. I tasted it, right? I put it in my mouth and had to spit it out immediately. They told us, make sure that you don't actually, drink the tap water. And they'd given us bottled water. And, it's just a kind of thing that you do when you brush your teeth in the morning. You take water from the tap and put it in your mouth. Completely forgot about the bottled water and I had to spit it out immediately. So they poisoned the water, they've destroyed their agriculture, and they had it on a ration then. They had Gaza with trucks coming in with a daily allowance then. And it was a very, very small amount of food at that time. Now it's a famine. At that time, they were getting food, but it wasn't where you can eat 3 meals a day at all. Netanyahu specifically said they need to be on a calorie controlled diet. Let me just go to the tweet in the nest and then I'll continue. There's footage from the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla, guys. It's in the nest. Please share it. Please retweet it. We need to keep the pressure on. They're getting closer and closer to Gaza and it's getting more and more dangerous for them. So we need to make sure that we keep the pressure on. And when we heard these gunshot wounds, what happens is that there's the sea. And so there are people who want to eat and they'll try to go and fish. And this is international waters, right? So what Israel has done is it's put like a boundary and it basically, you see it as a rope. You can see it as a rope all the way along the Mediterranean. Which is probably about, if you were to walk to it, it would probably be, for a guy who's 6 foot, it'd probably be about shoulder high. Go on, Suleiman, jump in.
Just some more breaking news. The tweet's in the nest. So Israel do plan to attack the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla at 2 a.m. Rima Hassan said the intervention was scheduled for 2 a.m. We're waiting. Those who can join the vigil at the Republic, we need your support now. And what she is doing is she's quoting the Jerusalem Post, and the Jerusalem Post are basically saying that the Madeleine will be in that the Madeleine will be in Israeli waters or Israeli territory, as they call it. We know it's not really Israeli territory, but that's what they call it, at 2 a.m., which means that they expected to be attacked at any time, because obviously when they got apprehended before, maybe they were going a bit slower than they expected them, and they were in international waters. Even now, they're still in international waters, but Israel is obviously going to claim that now they're into Israeli territory and then try and apprehend them that way. So that, the Jerusalem Post said, is going to happen at 2 a.m. It's now 2:26 in Gaza. So that's the latest news in that regard. So that could basically, according to the Jerusalem Post and Rima Hassan, they're expecting something to happen any minute now. So just watch out for that. So yeah, myself, I was thinking as well, I wonder when it's going to happen. Maybe we can do the space later. But based on that tweet, maybe we're going to have to keep it going for a lot longer, because it seems like the apprehension can happen at any time. Pass it back to you, Khaleesi.
Yeah, thanks for that, Suleiman. Guys, please share that tweet. Please retweet it. And please do also retweet the space. Tag the space in if this is going to happen. And I do believe it's going to happen. By the way, there is zero doubt in my mind that Israel will not attack this ship and try to kidnap the people, not arrest, kidnap. They're in international waters. Zero doubt in my mind. It's going to happen. We have to keep the space going. And we have to just raise as much awareness as possible. If you know journalists, tag them in. Any politicians, you know, preferably not the Zio ones, but the ones who are actually supporting the cause, tag them in. And put a link of the space underneath, please. Do that and then post that in the comments below so we know who's been tagged in as well. We need to keep the pressure on tonight. So just very, very quickly, what I was saying was, so that the rope is about shoulder high. They make sure it's just not deep enough for any, like, you know, real wildlife fish to be there. So you can't fish. If you get anywhere near that rope, on the other side are their vessels and they will shoot. And the gunshots we heard, I saw it myself. They were shooting an old man who tried to go and get some fish. He wasn't successful, but they shoot at you. And this is international waters. I explained at the beginning of the space what they did with the last flotilla that tried to go to break the siege by sea. They boarded the vessel via helicopter and they shot people and killed people on there. And now this flotilla is going, the Madeleine is going. And make no mistake, every single person on the Madeleine knows what happened to the flotilla that went before, and they are still doing it. They're heroes, they're courageous, and we need to make sure we support them. So please share all the updates that Suleiman's putting in the nest, share the space, and tag people in the space link. Tag journalists, tag politicians. They will board, they will kidnap those people. And there's real danger for them now. So Suleiman, if it's okay with you, we can go to Hamdano because he's been waiting a while.
Yeah, go for it.
Hamdano, jump in. We can't hear you. Can anybody hear Hamdano?
I can't hear Hamdano either, but guys, for those who are tuned in, please do us a massive, massive favor, guys. This is a very, very important space. This is emergency breaking news. Israel is currently surrounding Madeleine Freedom Flotilla and Greta Thunberg. This is breaking news. We, just like Khaleesi said earlier, we've seen what happens in the past to these flotillas. So we are trying to bring in as much awareness as possible so that hopefully it brings pressure on to not, so that nothing happens to these people, because that's all that genociders care about, is where people's attention is at. So that's why we want to bring people's attention towards this. So if you're tuned in right now, guys, please do us a massive favor. We're doing this on a Sunday. Suleiman opened up this space on a Sunday. Most people would turn a blind eye and not even look the other way, right? So show Suleiman support, show these hosts support. We got Maze Love here, Khaleesi as well. Show them support. Show these people on the flotilla, more importantly, support, because as Khaleesi said earlier, they are taking a massive risk and they're very well aware of what's happened in the past, and they're still going to take this risk because they still feel for the people of Gaza, Palestine, who are currently being starved to death and genocided to death to levels that we have never seen before in human history. So please do us a big favor. If you're tuned in, you're wondering, how could we help? How could we do action? The biggest thing we could do now is bring the most awareness possible and amplify the message of these heroes who are on the flotilla. And the way that you could do that right now is to hit that repost button. Let's keep reposting until we get 1,000 reposts minimum. Keep reposting as much as possible because we are already being heavily censored. They're already trying to cap limit our views. I already see the views being cap limited by the Zio stream media, by the genocider stream media. So please help us by hitting that repost button. The way that you do it is you hit that lower right button on your screen. It's either going to be purplish or white. You're going to hit it. It says 214, 215 right now. And then you're going to hit that repost button as much as possible. You're going to keep hitting it. And you're going to keep sharing it until we see that $1,000 number. So please be sure to do that. Mike, back to you, Suleiman.
Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, if you're requesting, I obviously haven't got time to look through people's profiles, and I just haven't, it's not the right time for like Zionists to come up and do drama, and that's not what that space is about. So I'm only going to bring you up if I know who you are, you're following me or something like that. So because this isn't the space for those debates, that's another space. This is like, we're really concerned what may happen to the flotilla. This isn't drama. We've explained what they've done in the past. We'll get into more details about that. Lisa, you can go into details. I know you explained about a lot more details about what they've done to flotillas in the past. So we know that massacring these flotillas isn't beyond the Zionists. So we're going to keep it focused on that. Miz, jump in. You had your hand up, and then we'll go to Miz.
I think so I'm not sure about this, but somebody did mention in the last space that possibly people like Susan Sarandon are on there, and I think that that's kind of a good thing to have people who are well known, because I guess at some point, if there's any breaks that Israel would have, would be to somewhat maybe prevent, the full scale exposure of what they're doing. Like if they kill, some of these famous people that are American, I think that would. So I guess what I'm saying is, if anybody does know if that's true or not, please let me know.
I'm not sure about her, but like Liam Cunningham's on there, famous Irish actor from I think he was in Game of Thrones and various other major movies. So there are a number, and then obviously Greta Thunberg is extremely famous as well. So there are a few famous people on there, which hopefully will stop them from committing a mass murder. But just you never know with these people.
Yeah, man. And, I went from despising that little girl. That sounds terrible, but I absolutely adore her now. She's a soldier, she's a gangster. And I just, I'm really, really happy that we have people on there that care. And Simon, I see your hand up. I'm toss it over to you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so the interview that I played earlier, that was live from Al Jazeera, and it was Greta Thunberg. I didn't, honestly, I didn't actually know who she was before this, but she's a Swedish 22-year-old activist, I think mainly known for climate activism, which is probably why Maze didn't like her before. But if you see her, like when you were watching her, there was a couple of things that I was really feeling, made me a little bit nervous. First thing is, she was expressing the same thing we're all kind of feeling, that no matter what we do, you can't rely upon governments. This is happening. Why is this happening? All of that type of emotion. But in her face, you could see both brave and fear type of emotion. She was.
And we just continue to get more information coming out from the flotilla. There's also a video in the nest from Yasmin Akar as well, who's also on the flotilla. So we're continue to get information. They continue to send videos. I believe that they've been jamming their network. We can't see the exact location of the flotilla, or it's in and out. But yeah, that's the latest one. Sorry, Simon. When I do interrupt this, just to give the updates, and then go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, you don't explain, just carry on. But yeah, you can see in her face, she's both brave and nervous. She is determined to fulfill the mission and get to Gaza. We all know that somehow they're not going to allow that to happen. What they're going to do, we don't know. And she was wearing a life jacket because she knows, and they all know, that their life is at risk. They went into this knowing what could happen. But they were, they're expressing that they're not going to stop the mission until they get to Gaza. Her face looked incredibly nervous at the same time. Sometimes she was streaming from a phone, and sometimes it would go between portrait and landscape. At the same time, she was looking out for what drones are around, what other ships are around. And you could just see that she's not gonna, she's trying to get as much attention to this as possible. She wants the whole world to know what they are doing and that they are at risk, and they're not going to stop. So she was expressing that it's a game of chicken. Essentially, the IDF are going to find a way of stopping them, or she's going to get to Gaza. So it's a very nerve-wracking situation. In her eyes and in her face, you could tell that this, really is something that could cost her life. And she's determined to see this through to the end. So it's really important that as many people understand what's going on here.
Yeah, we've got more updates from the Freedom Flotilla. Yasmin Akar, she also said, the tweets in the nest: "We are safe. The interception hasn't taken place. 4 vessels surrounded us. 2 vessels came within 200 meters. closer than ever in the past 8 days. This is why we sounded the alarm. Many lights around us and 2 vessels I'm looking at right now. So it seems like the vessels are not only surrounded them, but they essentially are in line with them and going with them. So this is my concern, that what they're doing is they're almost scouting them, hawking them, tailing them, and then once they get into what the Israelis call Israeli waters, which we know is not really Israeli waters, but I'm saying what they call it, then that's when they'll apprehend, and then their claim will be that we didn't apprehend them in international waters. And if they may make excuses like, oh, we thought they had a weapon, we had this, with that, that's the reason we killed them. So this is happening live right now. We know the fake news they're going to say, so we're already telling you these are the things they may do. So this hopefully should stop them, because we're letting them know that we know what they're about and what they're doing. And if you think they're not aware of these spaces, they are. Like, there's 2,000 people listening. The Zios are fixated on these type of things. It's why the IDF started spaces. So this is why, like, I appreciate Mays and everyone coming together, Khaleesi, everyone, Simon, collating the space together, because they will be aware of the space now, and therefore we hope that by that they'll minimize the evil that they're planning to do. So yeah, that's the latest on that. Simon, did I interrupt you? Go ahead.
Just before we go back to Simon, so Israel's now starting to respond. What Israel's saying, the Israeli Foreign Ministry just issued a statement, and Simon, you were talking about this, so it'd be good to get your input on this as well. A couple of things. The first thing they've said is the boat claims to be carrying humanitarian aid, but in reality, it is a propaganda ploy. And then they've said, and this is interesting, the maritime area of Gaza is closed to unlicensed vessels under a legal naval blockade. And this is from the Israeli Foreign Ministry. They're saying the maritime area of Gaza is closed to unlicensed vessels under a legal naval blockade. And so you have to think about the fact that it's unlicensed vessels under a legal naval blockade. Whose law? Who's actually passed the law to say this? And it's got to be Israel itself has just drafted a law to say, oh, we won't allow. It's not Israel's land, is it? It's Gaza.
If I may, I don't know if you can hear me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Thomas Guénolé. I'm a political scientist and also a quite known TV columnist in France. I just wanted to add that, in fact, preventing humanitarian aid to arrive to the civilians constitutes a war crime in itself, whatever waters you're in, and whether your boat is registered to this or that. It's maybe an interesting point, because life imprisonment is the potential sentence for such a crime as a war crime. I'm not inventing that, of course. It's the Rome status of the international court, you know.
For sure, Thomas. Thanks for highlighting that. We were aware of it, but it's always good to reiterate it to the audience. What Khaleesi was doing was reading the Israeli side, because these are the excuses they're going to make when they do some evil action, like kill the people on the Madeleine, or if they try to apprehend them and take them in. We also have some more breaking news. This is from Francesca Albanese, and she said the 2 drones are over the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla. She said, quote, 2 drones over the Madeleine this tweet's in the nest, 2 drones over the Madeleine. They say they are quadcopters, the dangerous ones. Team is taking cover. So that is right now the latest news. There is 2 drones over the Madeleine right now. So that is the latest news from Francesca Albanese. Do continue watching her page, providing important updates as well. Let me go. Khaleesi, were you speaking, or who was speaking? I can't remember now.
No, I just wanted Simon was actually speaking, and I interjected him just to give this breaking news on what Israel, the nonsense Israel is spewing. So Simon, back to you.
Yeah, look, a couple of things I want to say. So firstly, at the same time, this is really important to follow this. But if the drones that are flying over this ship right now are most likely powered by Palantir, the same technology that is going to be used upon Americans right now, and all of your data is going to be sent across to. So don't think that what is happening on Gaza is not a beta test for what can happen to you if you get out of check. This is what is happening right now. This is what the Trump administration is ushering through, and it's not Trump. This is, this is a bipartisan American thing that is happening right now. So the same company is probably controlling or providing the technology for these drones that they're using in LA right now. And people like Laura Loomer are saying that we should be using it on on Americans, and is cheerleading along an Israeli first agenda to take this technology and use it on Americans, which is being beta tested on protesters right now. So draw the parallels. They make you think that this is about, preventing open borders and deporting illegal immigrants.
Just some breaking news. Sorry, Simon. I think Sulaiman's team's just about to put this out now. But the French MEP Rima Hassan has said that the drones above us is spraying a white liquid. God help these people. I think your team is going to put this out now, Sulaiman. The drones above are spraying a white liquid. Warning message from Madeleine, ship in the Gaza, Freedom Flotilla, drones overhead, alarm sounding, and there's a white liquid that's being sprayed. I don't know what that could be.
Yeah, the same white liquid that, if this works, will probably be used in LA and protesters in the future in America. So understand that all of this is happening. In terms of, look, just recognize the contradictions. This is typical Israeli Hezbollah. Is this Gaza? Is this an illegal blockade? No, they'll say we've done everything. Gaza should have complete autonomy with their own government in order to determine whether they allow these ships to board. But we know it's an illegal occupation. We know this is a genocidal mission to make sure that everything gets combined into one state called Israel. And they want these pesky Palestinians off the land. And genocide is their way of trying to do this in an acceptable way by not allowing the aid to come through, by blowing up all the infrastructure, and by making it impossible for them to, farm, grow their own, food, any infrastructure that allows them to have hospitals, treatments. There's women that are delivering babies. All of this is what's being done right now, and there'll be people out there that try to make it out like that they've got 5-star hotels and all sorts of shit. Just, if you haven't figured that stuff out by now, this is the time to understand it. So it brings up all important international law questions. Israel only has the right to defend themselves against another jurisdiction that has declared war.
Just some breaking news. Just to reiterate what Khaleesi said, the Rima Hassan, who's on the ship, is saying, and I put the tweet in the nest, you can see the image, she's provided evidence that they are spraying something white from the drones. So the drones are spraying some form of white liquid onto the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla. That is happening right now. The tweet's in the nest. Let's raise some awareness about that. That's shocking. I don't know what I don't know what that is. I need to look into it, but that's crazy. And if anybody has got any expertise on that, drop me a message and I'll bring you right up, because we do want to know. We want some expertise on that as well. But yeah, appreciate it.
The latest
So yeah, that's happening right now.
was that the ship was surrounded by other vessels, and they believed to be from the Israeli Defense Force. Are we listening into this? Okay, let's listen in.
In which direction? We don't know if it's a boat that is trying to guide the drone. It is very dark and it's very difficult to see. It's very challenging to understand what is happening exactly around us. So as you can see, the white spots are now everywhere. It is not. We can see it is even on the hands of one of the persons who are on the boat. It looks like cement or like a paint. Does it have any smell? It smells like painting or paint. Diego is talking about this paint. Diego is saying that this paint is used in order to identify any moving subject.
It's fluorescent.
Diego is saying that it has two goals. The first one is to intimidate people, and the second goal of this paint that they drew on the boat, you can see it's really covering the whole boat, the whole surface. The second goal or objective is to be able to identify the boat so that they can keep tracking the boat. This white paint continue to be drawn on the boat as we speak. So we will see how this operation will continue, and we will see how things will evolve. Viewers,
It's phosphor and tracer. The Israelis are tracing them. That's what the drone's doing. It's UV tracing.
so this is the current situation right now. Let us listen to Diego.
Situations during this emergency situation that we cannot repeat again. So first, whoever is in contact with the drones needs to preserve itself. In general, we don't go out. Second, we respect each other here. We don't say bad words to the drones. We don't attack the drones. There's no military victory here with them.
بألفاظ بذيئة لسنا في حرب معهم. حاولوا أن تبعدوا على من مرمى.
Try to stay away.
الطائرات المسيرة.
Try to stay away from the drones, please.
حاولوا التأقلم مع هذا الوضع.
Please try to cope with the situation.
Another thing I want to say is Tiago is here. I have to get him to film it. I'm alive. These are the procedures. And when I try to get
علينا مثل ما قلت أن نتبع البروتوكولات.
We need to follow the protocol and the procedures. So the discussion is about how to be organized and how to support Diego in order to organize and control the situation and the safety of people on the boat. As you can see, this white paint is covering the surface of the boat, and now we are under the ceiling and we are waiting for the next step. We don't know what is happening exactly, as I said, given that they have put strong light on the boat, so it is very difficult for us to see any boat that could get close. This is really hindering our visibility. We cannot see who is controlling the boat, and this is part of their strategy, it seems. That is why we can see this white spots that look like paints that are covering now the boat.
And that's UV fluorescent tracking, guys, that Israel's using against them.
We try to follow the lights so that we can also identify any boats that are approaching. So as you can see, it's more about this paint that is covering the boat. Now there's a discussion of the importance to respect the protocol and to respect the drill that have been conducted during the previous days. Everyone should remain in their designated location so that when they start interacting with people, they should remain pacifist, and also you should not try to have any action or reaction. You should act with respect so that the situation remain peaceful, so that you can go back to your homes.
Simon, sorry, I think there's some breaking news. I'm just going to read it out. I think Suleiman's team is just going to put it out in a second. And what it says is there's a warning message from the Madeleine. The Madeleine is currently under assault in international waters. Quadcopters are surrounding the ship, spraying it with a white irritant substance. Communications are jammed and disturbing sounds are being played over the radio. So just for the guys, from what I recall, the last time this happened on a flotilla, which was some years ago, as I said at the beginning of the space, there were helicopters, there were quadcopters. They did play on the radio. They played warnings on the radio to say, turn around, go back. And then they simultaneously came down on deck. The Israeli commandos came down. They actually just, when they drop a rope and land on the deck, that's what they did. And they were fully armed and they started shooting people. This is very, very high profile now. We need to keep it the highest of profiles. Tag in all the journalists, any politicians that you know, any activists that you know, any celebrities that you know, any sports presenters, any TV presenters, any big profiles you know that are supportive of the cause. Tag them in, ask them to tweet about this. This is really, really serious now. There's also some breaking news in the nest. Suleiman's teams put out, Israeli Foreign Ministry threatens the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla. They have said unauthorized attempts to breach the blockade are dangerous, illegal, and undermine humanitarian efforts. Isn't it amazing? They call it a blockade and talk about humanitarian efforts all in the same sentence. So don't let anybody tell you that Gaza doesn't have a blockade, because the Israeli Foreign Ministry has said unauthorized attempts to breach the blockade are dangerous, illegal, and undermine humanitarian efforts. They've also said the boat claims to be carrying humanitarian aid, but in reality it is a media stunt. They've also said if the ship poses a security threat, it will be dealt with accordingly. This is Israel saying they're going to deal with that ship accordingly.
Yeah,
and
they're about to say Hamas is on the ship, right?
Sorry, say that again.
They're about to say Hamas is on the ship, hiding in the barrels in the aid.
Basically, yeah. Greta Thunberg is Hamas now. And they said, we call on all parties to direct humanitarian aid through legitimate mechanisms, not through provocation. So that tweet is in the nest, guys. Please share it. Please retweet it. I think it's just gone out of the nest, but you'll find it on Suleiman's profile. If you go down there, all the updates are there. There's another one now. Breaking warning, the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla is under attack. The Madeleine is currently under assault in international waters. Quadcopters are surrounding the ship, spraying it with a white irritant substance. Communications are jammed and disturbing sounds are being played over the radio. Please share that, guys. Please retweet it. And when you retweet it and then quote tweet it. And quote tweet it and tag in somebody you follow who's got a big profile, who you know is an activist, who's a journalist, who's anybody who's got a platform that they can raise awareness of this. The more awareness we raise, the more we have a chance of actually keeping these people safe tonight. And I'm not saying that lightly. I mean that. If you think Israel cannot take action and kill these people on the flotilla, they have done it before, they have formed, they did it on a previous flotilla, and just look at the amount of people they have killed to date, including well-known people, including Americans and British people in the cuisine kitchen. They've done it right the way through. So we have to keep these people safe. Please tag in anybody that you know has a platform and can raise awareness.
Yeah, so if you saw the footage I was watching, essentially the ship is just covered in like white spots. It's a mess. The front of the ship, the glass so that they can see out and steer the ship, is like covered in paint. So they're basically blindly sailing. It's really dark, so you can't really see anything. And the way that was working is they were speaking in English, and then it was Al Jazeera.
Okay, come on. So you can see it clearly there. It stinks really, really bad. We don't know what it is. And we're putting up the Palestine flag to protect us, literally. We are using the Palestine flag to protect us. This is what we are doing right now. We don't know what this paint is. I cannot tell you. It smells very weird.
But white paint.
Shit, guys. I'm so sorry that there's just so much happening right now. Do we have the grab bags?
Avoid to inhale this paint. Avoid to touch it.
Do we have masks, guys? We don't have any masks, so I will cover my mouth. Okay, use your kafiyas. Use your kafiyas to. Oh my God, we need water.
Yes.
This chemical.
This is going to distribute all of our passports right now. We put in a safe place, okay?
I need light. Please.
Yes, Mark.
Okay, time check. Please. Okay, the IOF is contacting us right now. I'm filming it.
Okay. Right, do film this. You can. Some people put lights and others film. Nice. The passports. But they're not calling us. No, I just made a countdown.
Okay, we just thought that the IOF is making contact. Oh my God, it's burning my eyes, this thing. Is it burning your eyes? No?
Nice. Oh. Everywhere on the book.
Okay. My phone's about to die. I'm gonna come back to this live. I need a second.
Talking about resistance and these type of things. So they've already created the framing to be able to essentially bomb and kill them and then make that claim. So they've already created the narrative for that. We also have some more breaking news. The tweet's in the nest, and it's been mentioned before, but quadcopters are flying over the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla. But Francesca Albanese, the UN rapporteur, has said, quote, 12:40 a.m. UK time, the drones are pouring white paint on the boat. We've mentioned that. 12:51 UK time, which is just a few minutes ago, the flotilla people remain in good spirit, but they stay undercover because of the two quadcopters flying over them. These machines are made to kill, not just to surveil. So that is the latest what's happening right now. Obviously, we'll continue to provide you with the latest update as we do, but unfortunately, the quadcopter, first of all, they sprayed paint on it. They claim that one of the uses of the claim is to be able to survey and see and create visibility, but we know that there's probably going to be much other technological reasons behind why they've done that. Furthermore, they've got drones, quadcopters, basically overhead, which are killing machines essentially, and then they've also got boats that are scouting and surveying and basically tailing them as well. So this is a bit crazy. Like, think about it. Greta's a young kid. She's like 20 something. Like, just think about it. Like, younger than my brother, and I would be worried if my brother was on there. So this is literally what's happening right now. It is it would be extremely scary for anyone in that situation. Just think about that. So the huge level of bravery these people are partaking in, it cannot be expressed enough. Big credit to every single person on board. Huge shout out on that.
Yeah, she's aged 22. She was born in 2003. And just looking at the ship now, it's a bit like it looks like it started looking like spots, and then it looks like the white stuff the white paint is expanding. So I think there's some kind of advanced technology that's being used here. Either that or they're trying.
Okay. The Madeleine is being attacked right now. There is videos coming out. It is being attacked. There's like literally some kind of bombing or bombardment going on. It's being attacked right now, the Madeleine. This is happening right now. I haven't even put the tweet out. I just told you guys straight away before I've seen it. This is crazy. So it's happening right now. What we feared is happening. The Israelis are attacking the Madeleine right now.
Do you know if it's missiles or gunfire or like what type of attack? Do you know?
I don't know. It's just limited footage at the moment. I'll put the footage out. You can take a look at it, but it's just limited at the moment.
My goodness, that's crazy. Hi, Hussein. Welcome.
Just really quickly, Maze, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. Israeli media platform is reporting the Israeli army has begun storming the ship. The Israeli army has begun storming the ship. right now. This is the Israeli media platform is reporting this.
Yeah, I think what they're going to try and do is get on the ship, intimidate them, use force and try and get them to divert over to an Israel port or something like that. But I think that's what they're most likely to be trying to do at the moment.
We've now got footage of the drones coming out as well. I think Suleiman's team's just putting all of these out any second now. My God. My God. And the Walla website has said that the military sources have said, Israeli military sources have said, if the ship's captain does not comply with instructions, we will carry out a controlled operation. And the instructions will be to divert to the port. That's what it will be to go with them.
So that tweet's in the nest in terms of the Freedom Flotilla being attacked directly. So that's happening right now.
Hi, Gary. Thanks for joining us.
Khaleesi, do you wanna change do you want to change the title?
Yeah, sure.
Guys, do me a favor and please repost the space if you don't mind. It's very important to get all eyes on this. The least we could do from here, from our homes, from the comfort of our homes, is at least cover this and talk about it. Hi, Gary. Sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah. Hey, guys, just while we have a break, can you bring me up to speed as to what's going on? I'm clueless. Sorry, I've had my head into something else, but it sounds horrible. The flotilla? What's the flotilla?
Which says that the alarm was sounded earlier on its Gaza-bound ship, and we can listen in, I believe, now, can we? Okay, everyone. Phones need to go. Phones need to go, please.
They asked us to turn off the phones.
يبدو أننا فقدنا الاتصال الآن مع الزميل عمر فياض.
All right, we seem to have lost it. You can imagine there's a very tricky communication situation. We understand that all communications with the vessel were cut by the Israelis, and now we seem to have lost the picture as well. But just to confirm what's happened so far, the Madeleine ship, which is launched by the Freedom Flotilla Coalition en route to Gaza, carrying humanitarian aid as the Palestinian enclave, of course, faces massive food shortages because of Israel's...
Just 1 second, sorry, Simon. Excuse me, that 1 second. The Israeli Navy has released footage showing its forces communicating over open radio frequencies with the Freedom Flotilla and the Madeleine, warning them not to approach the Gaza Strip and instructing them to divert to the port of Ashdod in southern Israel. And they've actually released footage of them saying that, do not approach the Gaza Strip and divert to the port of Ashdod in southern Israel. So it seems like there's going to be a standoff now.
Okay, so they've cut off all communications. This is typically what they do. Israel has always done this. Whenever they're going to do things that they don't want anyone to see, they cut off all communications. They try and shut out the media. They try and do a blackout. And so at the moment, Al Jazeera, there was a feed from their phones and they had internet connection and they were able to take that feed directly through to Al Jazeera. Now Al Jazeera has lost contact. It looked like there were actually IDF soldiers on the ship, but they didn't actually show that. But people had the people on the ship had their hands up. They look incredibly intimidated. And they were trying to give us a message that they're telling us to turn off our phones. And then suddenly their phones were taken away. And then Al Jazeera lost. And now it's looking at old footage, which is just covered with the white spots across the whole ship right now. So I think at the moment, there's a communication blackout. And we're now relying upon only the IDF to tell us the truth in this moment.
We have an update from TRT World now, which is Turkish media, saying the Freedom Flotilla Coalition says its Gaza-bound ship is under assault in international waters, surrounded by Israeli quadcopters spraying a white irritant substance, which we've actually talked about. And remember, guys, Turkey will be following this very closely because the last Freedom Flotilla, it was the Turkish that were shot and killed on there, and one American.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've put that tweet in the nest, the one of the Navy, if you want to explain it to everybody, Khaleesi.
Yeah, I can't actually see it yet in the nest. Let me just see which one you've put out from your... And guys, if you're missing anything, because we are turning things around in the nest, if you're missing anything, just look on Suleiman's timeline and you should be able to see all the updates there. Although having said that, Suleiman, I'm refreshing your timeline and the last one I can see is from an hour ago. This is crazy. What is happening to your timeline? Okay, I can see it now. So Israel warns the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla and plan to attack. The Israeli Navy has released footage showing its forces communicating over open radio frequencies with the Freedom Flotilla Madeleine, warning them not to approach the Gaza Strip and instructing them to divert to the port of Ashdod in southern Israel. So what this is we have the flotilla, we have Madeleine with Greta Thunberg and all these other brave people on there approaching Gaza with aid, with, as Simon said earlier, medicines, with milk formula for the babies, because there is a famine. And what's happening is Israel have intercepted, cut off communications, sprayed the ship with some white substance. They've got drones overhead. They've got quadcopters overhead, full on intimidation. And now they're telling them over open radio, go to Ashdod port, go to our port. Do not carry on straight towards Gaza. So it's a standoff situation. If they go to Ashdod, without a shadow of a doubt, they'll be taken into Israeli prisons. And then what? We don't know. I know for a fact that when this happened last time and the British were taken in on the last flotilla, our Foreign Office did nothing. They didn't actually communicate. They didn't try to find out. So if I was taken in another country like China or Iran, the British Foreign Office would be involved. They'd try to communicate. They'd give support to the family. They'd try to get information. They'd try to talk to the consulate. They'd try to talk to the ambassador to say what is happening with our citizen. We need our citizen back. They did nothing. When British people were held last time on the flotilla, they were taken into a prison and held there for days and nights. And so the European Union, where Greta's from, the British, if there's any British people on there, the American, they will do nothing. There is a standoff there at the moment. If they go to Ashdod port, they will be arrested and taken into a prison. If they do not go to the Ashdod port, then their life is at risk, for sure.
Yeah, I want to reiterate as well, with everything, the civil unrest that's happening within America right now, the big bill, which is trying to usher in technology with Palantir. Palantir is the same company that is providing the technology and the artificial intelligence for these drones, for the genocide. There is, this is the same technology that is being beta tested on Gaza, that the Trump administration is looking to squeeze into the big, beautiful bill in order to give billions of dollars of contracts over to Palantir, at the same time as people like Laura Loomer and other influencers telling everybody in America that in order to control these borders, they must adopt Palantir's technology.
Simon,
Just some more breaking news. Yeah. Just some more breaking news. Francesca Albanese has just tweeted, again, I put the tweet in the nest, Israel has taken over the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla, 1 a.m. UK time. Israeli speedboat reached Madeleine. At the time the boat was intercepted, no one is wounded. The captain asked me to record. I heard the soldier speaking while the captain was on the phone with me. I lost connection with the captain as he was telling me that another boat is approaching. So one boat went in, took over, another boat was approaching, and then they lost complete communication with the Madeleine. The Israeli army is in control of the boat at the moment, as per the previous information that we've got. So yeah, that's what's happening right now. The Israelis have cut off communications. So we're probably not going to get any direct communication from the Madeleine, but we'll continue to try to provide it, because I do believe that Francesca Albanese is still on the phone with them. But then she did say the communication got cut. Go ahead, Khaleesi.
Yeah, just some more breaking news. And it says that it's pretty much what you've just said, Suleiman, that the connection has been lost on the Madeleine and the Israeli army have boarded the vessel. So they are now on the vessel, and we have an image as well. I think that Suleiman's team is just about to put out. You've got everybody sat there with their arms up, their hands up in the air with their life jackets on. It's an image that has come out. It's the first image we're getting out. So we're just about to put that out. The Israeli army have boarded the vessel. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable.
Well, I guess for now,
Sorry,
the fact
yeah.
that they boarded the vessel rather than shoot them down is a step in the right direction that we can. But what happens to them from here, we need to be concerned about.
Yeah, just to give Gary a quick update and anybody else that's in here that's wondering, the Freedom Flotilla is delivering humanitarian aid going just to the shore of Gaza. That was the plan, to kind of bypass anything that Israel is the blockades that Israel has. And so they were surrounded by Israel and basically told to go to a port. But it's carrying things like baby milk and, you know, antibiotics and just basic humanitarian aid. It's got people on there like Greta Thunberg. And who's the other gentleman? I don't remember exactly the name, but it's got some.
Liam Cunningham.
Oh, okay, yeah, Liam Cunningham. And so, yeah, at this point, we are just doing our best to keep an eye on it and report on everything, just in hopes that they don't actually attack and kill or hurt these people.
So just some breaking news. I think Khaleesi already mentioned it, but just to reiterate the tweets in the nest. The Israeli army has took control of the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla. They made them put their hands up. They have cut off all communication. They have gone dark. That's basically what's happened. You can see them with their hands up in the image. It is extremely concerning what's happening. Appreciate everybody who's sending the information as well. I really do. So because we're able to get it out because of you guys, so I appreciate that, and also Lisa's on it as well. So guys, yeah, appreciate it. That tweet is in the nest. The Israelis have taken over the boat, and the images coming out from there aren't great. Lisa, go ahead.
I just think we need to keep the pressure up. I think we need to keep the pressure up. Gary, just to give you some background, one side of Gaza sits on the Mediterranean Sea, which is international waters. And the last time a flotilla went to take aid by sea, and they're happy, like all of this aid is checked. It's checked by, you know, before they actually set sail. So when they went by sea last time, Israeli commandos boarded deck and shot and killed. Well, they shot many people, but they actually managed to kill 10 people. So these people that have gone today, well, over the last few days, they've been sailing to try to get to Gaza with aid, and they are happy to have it inspected. You know, it's all aid, it's medicine and baby milk formula and things like that. Israel is not interested in inspecting it. It will not allow aid in. It will not. There is a blockade, there is a siege on Gaza. And today, the Israeli minister has said, and I quote, "We will not allow them to break the siege. We will not allow them to break the blockade." So he's actually saying there's a siege, there's a blockade, and we're not going to allow anybody to bring in any aid. And then you've heard Mays give the updates now that they were surrounded by drones and quadcopters. The Israeli army has boarded. They've got them all sat on the floor with their arms up in the air. And we have to keep the pressure on to make sure they stay safe, because I do not trust the Israeli authorities at all. They were very close to getting to Gaza, and they knew the risks, and they knew the chances of them actually reaching Gaza were going to be very, very slim.
Do you guys know when they got stopped? Were they in international waters or were they in Israeli
It is.
territory?
No, it is international waters. It is. And even by
Seriously?
Yeah, it's international waters. And even by Israel's own admission, they say it's international waters, but we have got legally rights to say that no unlicensed vessels can approach, but it's international waters. So then it begs the question, how can they legally have any right? And it's international waters. There's no dispute over that.
Wow. Why? Just maybe because I don't really understand, but why would Israel want to make this a global scene tonight? This is a big deal. I mean, what's in it for them? Where's the juice? Follow the money, like Simon says. But why would you be so?
This was an activist movement, so they're trying to stop the ship.
And sorry about that, Simon. I'm going to give it straight back to you. But yeah, the crew of the Madeleine Flotilla have their hands raised. They've got guns pointing at them. The tweets in the nest. You can see their hands are raised. This is major issue. Sorry, Simon, go ahead.
Yeah, for added context, for the last 7 days, there's been a US operation, which is funded by a Swiss company, which has been basically US contractors. They wanted to deliver some aid, and what they did is they've been gathering all the Palestinians into a certain area, lining them all up in cages. And then as the aid comes through, Israel has been opening fire on the Palestinians. And so every single day they've been massacring children and civilians. There's no Hamas there. It's nothing to do with Hamas. They're just trying to intimidate them so that they don't come and collect the aid. And then at the same time, they've been funding, terrorist groups like ISIS in order to intercept the aid. Because the Israeli government is in a race right now, they've been saying that, they've confessed that they have been funding those groups and weaponizing those groups in order to intercept the aid. So this is Israel's strategy, is to make sure that the Palestinians don't get any food. It's been about 90 days now where, there's been an absolute blockade on water, on all types of aid, all types of food. They've been blowing up any type of infrastructure that would allow them to feed themselves. They've blown up every single hospital. They've blown up the cancer center. Possible right now to implement the starvation campaign and famine campaign. And the only news outlet that seems to be covering this, I'm not sure if normal US news outlets are covering it, but Al Jazeera is the only one, which is Qatar Media, that has an English outlet and an Arabic outlet.
Guys, get into position, get into position. They can fire, those drones can fire. We are right here, surrounded by Israeli drones. Please sound the alarm. Those drones can fire. Please take cover, everyone. Assume position, please assume position. Everyone, Guys, get into position, get into position. They can fire, those drones can fire. We are right here, surrounded by Israeli drones. Please sound the alarm. Those drones can fire. Please take cover, everyone. Assume position, please assume position. Everyone, Guys, get into position, get into position. They can fire, those drones.
I know that you wanted to talk about the manifesto a little bit, then we'll go to that girl and then Moonbee. But Didi, jump in.
Just some more breaking news. Sorry, 1 second. Just some more breaking news. Oh shit! I've just posted it. 1 second. Let me go back up. It is footage from just before the. So we've just got footage from just before the Israel illegally took over the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla. This was around 2:30. So it was just before they jumped on. So you can see the footage is quite harrowing in terms of what's happening, and we've got more information coming out from there, which is the Israelis army have jammed the radios to prevent the people on board the crew from calling out for help. So yeah, that is the latest news. That is crazy at the moment. In terms of, I haven't posted the second one, but the first one is in the nest, and it is that just at 9. Oh, flip, how's it gone? I'll keep going to the wrong thing. Yeah, just at 2:30 Palestine time. That's roughly when that footage, you can see the Israeli army illegally taking over the ship. Yeah, so that is craziness what's happening right now. I just can't believe it. Like,
there's actual like Liam Cunningham, who's a Game of Thrones actor on the ship, a member from the European Parliament. So they tried to put as many high-profile people that were willing to engage in this mission. There's 12 people on the ship. And human rights activist, Omar Faid, a French journalist. So there's a journalist on there. Israel has killed like over 200 journalists so far. They've done a complete journalist blackout. One of the big things that they made sure that they do is that journalists aren't allowed in, even idiots like Piers Morgan have been made.
Omar is Al Jazeera journalist, and the other one is Yanis, is a French journalist from Blast Independent Media. Sorry, I had to correct you.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
No, we appreciate the extra information.
And also, Liam Cunningham is not on board. He supported the Flotilla before they departed and after he left, but he's supporting them right now, but he's not on board.
Thanks for that, Moon. And I know you wanted to speak. We'll come right over to you in a second. We'll go to...
And guys, there is major attacks on the space. It is glitching out really badly. I'm getting a lot of messages where people are dropping and people are getting thrown out the space. So just do, if you do, just jump back right into the space and do retweet and reshare the space as well. Obviously, they don't want people to be hearing exactly what's happening and the Flotilla, hence why that is happening. But yeah, sorry, back to you, Casey.
No problem. I was going to go to Casey. I know she glitched out and she's dragged herself back up a couple of times. Casey, jump in.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, it is pretty glitchy, guys. Everybody, please repost it. This is very important, and nobody else is talking about this on the app. So thank you, Solomon Police, for this space, because I'm actually like nervous and scared. So I'm saying a prayer for everybody, because, you know, now that they've detained them, who knows what they're going to do to them, right? So, which I do want to ask you about that, Khaleesi, because this one is a new one for me. Do you think that, now, first of all, the fact that Israel is doing all this simply because people are bringing in supplies, they're saying you could check the supplies. So be clear.
Right now, they're jamming our comms. They're saying random stuff just to jam our communication. They're doing this so that we cannot get help. Right now, they're jamming our comms. They're saying random stuff just to jam our communication. They're doing this so that we cannot get help.
And drag them to an Israeli prison, interrogate them, and then deport them. I think that's what will happen with all of them, because they've managed to intercept it. On the last one, it was a flotilla of quite a few large ships, and the key one they wanted was the Mavi Marmara, which was the main ship. And that flotilla, I believe it sailed from Turkey, and there's a big national organization in Turkey called İHA. It's spelled IHH, and in Turkish it's called İHA. And it was international activists. There were a lot of people that took part in that flotilla, many ships, but the Mavi Marmara was the biggest. And they knew They knew exactly who was on the Mavi Marmara. They knew exactly, who to target when they landed. They didn't actually kill any of the British people on the Mavi Marmara. Because it was organized by a Turkish organization, they shot the Turkish people in the head. And one of the people that I know, one of my friends, was stood, like, they obviously they came right up onto deck as soon as they heard the helicopters and the noise and the lights and, the loudspeaker and stuff. And as they came on deck, the commandos came down. And my friend was stood there with his Turkish friend next to him. My friend's British and his Turkish friend next to him. And the minute they landed, they shot the Turkish guy in the head. Dropped dead right there and then. With my friend, I said this at the beginning of the space, they got him on his knees, they put a red dot on his forehead, a red dot on his chest, they made sure he knew that the red dots were there, then they tied his hands behind his back, then they blindfolded him, then they dragged him off deck into an Israeli prison, kept him there for days, 0 consulate contact. But after a few months, he led the next convoy into Gaza. And that's the convoy that I went into Gaza on with him. It was about a year or so later or whatever it was. And I went into Gaza with him. But there were some people that were seriously impacted by this. They killed 10 people, 0 accountability for that. One of those people was actually British, American. He was born in America. And I believe it was Obama's government at the time in America, Obama's administration. And the Turkish government did file a case with Obama saying, listen, he was American born. If somebody kills an American citizen in this way, you have an obligation to question this. He was an American citizen. No questions were asked, nothing. This time, on the back of the genocide, I think with social media, as I think Simon and Mays are saying earlier, and Suleiman, that this has become very, very high profile. And without a shadow of a doubt, they know this space is running. The IDF started doing spaces because spaces were running. And I remember there were nights when Suleiman and I would have a space on something, and then the IDF would open up half an hour later with a counter narrative. And this is very high profile, so they decided to do it differently. I think these people will be arrested, and I think they will be taken and interrogated. And I say interrogated Israeli style, kept there for I don't know how long, and then they will be deported.
Just some more breaking news that tweets in the nest. This is from Yanis, what's his name again? Yanis Mahamdi. Israel illegally arrests French journalist and activists, and he said this just before all communication went off and they went dark. I am a journalist and I am covering the Freedom Flotilla convoy for a week. My arrest by the Israeli army is imminent. Humanitarian workers and journalists should not be arrested. I call on my colleagues to mobilize. So remember, there is a number, I believe there's 6 French journalists on a board, the Madeleine Freedom Flotilla, and they've arrested them. So that's the latest news. That is what's happening right now.
Yeah, and remember, all they need to do to get away with this is they need to connect what people are doing with the classification of terrorism. In the case of US, there's been lots of campaigns around saying free Palestine. The Israelis and so-called free speech absolutists like Laura Loomer, they want it to be, if you say free Palestine, that means you're supporting terrorism, and it's an act of terror. And so all they need to do is make the connection between supporting and being anti-genocide is an act of terror, and then it moves into the next wave of 0 protections, being able to torture, being able to deport you to El Salvador or whatever it may be. So when you're being told that you're trying to support, all of these different psyops, these are just ways of slowly eroding your rights, so that whenever you're doing something that is against the government's agenda, they're able to use the carves out from terrorism in order to just have a carve out from any types of protection.
Thanks for that, Simon. Sorry, I was just looking at an update. Casey, does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, it scares me even more. I am praying very hard for everybody who's on that ship, because I mean, the part about putting the laser target on your friend, and like interrogate is one thing. Terrorize and assault is a whole different thing, right? And I feel like that is what they would want to do. So I am praying for these people. And it's funny how, not that any of this is funny. It's just insane, though, like Greta Thunberg.
To turn off cameras before communications were jammed. You can see them. You can see the fear in their eyes. They've got their hands up, and they're being told to turn off their cameras. We have zero communication with them now. We have nothing. And make no mistake about it, guys. These people have been kidnapped.
The Freedom Flotilla coalition, which says that the alarm was sounded earlier on its Gaza-bound ship, and we can listen in, I believe.
And we need to lobby our governments and the European government and the American government to actually ask questions about why their citizens are being kidnapped in international waters. Casey, do you want me to come back to you? The other Casey?
Yeah,
No, the other one.
Please. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'll come back to you. Moon, go ahead.
Hi again. Yes, sorry, I wanted to emphasize the fact that the only Palestinian on board is Rima Hassan. Everyone, of course, they are all together in this, but she has been targeted during 20 months with death threat, with rape threat from a Zionist, lobbyist in France. But on all French media, she has been politically attacked because she's an MP. She's a European MP, French, Palestinian, and European MP. So the fact that she's the media in France are covering this right now, but during 20 months, they just attacked her, as being a Hamas member, etc. So she has been through a lot. Personally, and the government, Macron's government, did absolutely nothing to give her protection, as she received threats on a regular basis. I wanted to say that she was born in a refugee camp in Syria, and she came in France when she was only 9, and she's an international lawyer also. And she created a Palestine organization, NGO, a long time ago, and she was always fighting for that, for this day.
Guys, oh my God! Mobilisez-vous! Mobilisez-vous! Go to places! Ditch the phone! Ditch the phone! Ditch the phone! Yes. Phones in the water, please! The time they boarded our boat, okay? Please raise the alarm. MMC number. Yes. Don't shoot. 3, 2, 0, 5, 7, 3. Calm down. Calm down, everyone, please. Calm down. Everything's gonna be alright. Calm down. Wait. Hey.
Who is as French, obviously Palestinian heritage. Sueb Ordu, who is Turkish. Sergio Toribio, who is Spanish. Mark van Rene, who is Dutch. Tiago Avila, who is Brazilian. Omar Faid, who is French. Yanis Mohammadi, who is French. Pascal Morieres, who is French. And Yasemin Akar, who is German. So those are the people who have been illegally apprehended by the Zionist regime. You're looking at French, Swedish, Turkish, Spanish, Dutch, Brazilian, and German citizens who have been apprehended. So obviously with the Israelis, they know the rules don't apply to them, law doesn't apply to them. They can attack your citizens however they please. They can breach international law whenever they wish to. So that is what's happening right now. So that tweet is, and then I do want you to retweet and reshare that. I think it's extremely important that people realize the breadth and depth of this attack by the Israelis and they, you know, the crime these people committed. They were trying to get aid into Gaza, food, baby formula, medicine. For Israelis, that is the thing that horrifies them the most, the humanity of it. Moonbee, is there any other information you wanted to add on to that in terms of what you know about the people?
Yes, I wanted to say that Rima Hassan advocated for months in the European Parliament for blocking, you know, the EU-Israel agreement, which is a very important step. But right now, Macron is faking in the media, you know, that he wants to defend international law, etc. Foreign press. It's all I wanted to say. He is a hypocrite. Don't believe him. Whatever he says, even in France, we never believe him.
Yeah, we just need his wife to continue battering him, to be honest. I think that's what he deserves, really. Well, shout out to Bridget Macron then, isn't it? She needs to give him a slap every once in a while. But anyway, coming back to the point, in all seriousness, Israeli forces have kidnapped the volunteers of the Freedom Flotilla. The Israeli forces have kidnapped the basically the volunteers of the Freedom Flotilla by illegally detaining them. That's essentially what they're going to do to them. Someone mentioned torture. All of these things are possible. But yeah, the Freedom Flotilla has been taken control by the Israelis. May I pass the mic back to Khaleesi?
Yes, Israel intercepted and seized the Madeleine, so they've actually got control of the ship now. They've seized it. It was carrying international activists who were trying to reach Gaza. Israeli officials said before, they had announced before that if the ship was intercepted, which it has been, the activists would be detained and quickly.
Please go to your places.
من فضلكم خذوا مواقعكم. من فضلكم لا تتحركوا.
ما الذي يحدث هل هذه قوارب إسرائيلية؟ هل لديكم أي معلومات عن هذه القوارب؟
الآن القوارب السريعة وصلت إلى القوارب السريعة يخبرونا بأن نرفع أيدينا.
Be asked to be communicated with. How do they know these people? Who else they've met? Who was in their organization? It will not be a quick deportation. A quick deportation is when you actually take somebody and then find the next flight and put them on there. So the activists are detained and they will be deported at some point. Israel has said that they are likely to deport them within 24 hours. And because they think any delay could escalate the situation diplomatically. Let's see if it happens within 24 hours. And it was an unarmed civilian vessel in international waters, and it was a detention of foreign nationals. This should open the door to legal action in international courts. In any other world, it would. But obviously, we know that it's not going to in this case. So that was the update I wanted to give. Really quickly. Casey, jump in.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I'm like kind of just assessing things. Because right now in America, there's like this huge thing going on in California, right? And they'll say it's the left. A lot of this stuff I feel like is ignited. But I do look at Greta Thunberg as like a leader for like young, you know, leftists of her time and stuff. But nobody knows. Okay, so we're on this space. Quickly, I feel like these young kids, and they're not like kids, like these young adults would be out there protesting, going off for her. But right now, I think they're tied up with something else, if that makes any sense. So I guess I'm just kind of connecting dots maybe that are not there or whatever. But I do know with the left, one thing about the left, if you will, they don't play. Like if they're not happy about something, they make their voices known. They get out there, they protest, they do what they need to do. Unlike conservatives who just, like complain all day long, but that's a different story. So I'm just wondering if that, I don't know if there's any connection there, but again, I just want them to get back home safely.
2 years and a half, and it was maybe before the 7th of October that she decided, to fight for this cause. So I think she's genuine in her supporting this cause, and she's totally invested right now. I just wanted to say this because there's a lot of focus on her, but this Flotilla, it's really a group of people who met many times before organizing this, and they had a lot in common in their fights. You know what I mean? It's very important for people to understand that the focus now is on Palestine because many people realized that this colonialism is the roots of a lot of things. It's really the roots of the evil. Sorry, I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I'll add, I think it's hard to connect the dots. I think this was a long-term operation. I think they were planning this for a long time. When I was watching her on TV, you can see in her voice, she's expressing what many of us feel. We feel helpless. We feel that our government no longer represents any type of humanity. We feel that they're all sellouts to, and I'm not like a lefty and I don't blame capitalism, but I can understand the dots that people are connecting here because there is no doubt that money is playing, like we are seeing right in front of us, that if a genocide is profitable, then a genocide can carry out. Looks like it's going to be stopped once it's no longer profitable, is the reality. They're making money from selling weapons. They're making money from fake aid operations that fail. They're making money from trying to do a reconstruction deal and do real estate transactions. And I think, the ultimate gaslighting was when, President Trump in America published on Truth Social, like an artificial intelligence vision for the Gaza Strip, which involved transsexuals with beards dancing on the beach while President Trump and President Netanyahu were sipping on a tequila. In the Palestinians, it's a majority Muslim place and a conservative place in terms of their values. And so it's just absolute gaslighting when we've been watching the most horrific type of footage. Like, and it does connect to what is happening in California, because if you look at some of the protests, you'll find people with Palestinian flags and they want that to be connected. And so whether it's a false, whether real things are happening, they'll infiltrate it with the Palestinian cause so that they can then say, if you are standing for Palestine, then you're a terrorist. They're connecting it with the deportation issues, and really they're psychologically traumatizing people. People that have watched this after COVID, after inflation, after just really people are at peak mental unhealthiness at the moment, and this is the time when they're coming in and deciding to implement surveillance technology, go for bills that
Sorry, Simon, I just want to
change to
interrupt you
pre-crime.
really quickly. Gary said on here that if they've intercepted one boat, the answer is to have many boats and keep going again and again. And I said after that, make no mistake, the IDF do listen to these spaces because they have done counter
My name
spaces
is
to
Gaza Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by the Israeli occupational forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible. My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been intercepted and...
For those of you who didn't follow the first revision of the most recent version of the Flotilla, or in 2010, some of us are kind of speculating about what will happen to these folks. I think that Israel is probably going to treat this sort of version of the flotilla possibly with the most compassion, which isn't much to say, right? It's comparing, obviously a really unfortunate situation where they are killing people. But I think that they know that there's too many eyes on this situation, and Greta Thunberg's celebrity status is absolutely going to possibly be what saves them from a much harsher sort of treatment because the world is watching.
Yeah, and remember that because they are Western and because they came from the West, and because we're putting attention on them, their lives are probably going to be saved and they're probably just going to be deported back. But remember, if you were born in Gaza and you're a Palestinian right now, you don't get any of those human rights. You don't get food. You get everything controlled. You have, in fact, Israelis in the Israeli parliament are debating the right to rape. And if you rape a Palestinian, then you actually become an international hero. And so these are the types of things that are happening at the moment. And so just remember, if these people were Gazan-born Palestinians, they would have been shot. They would have been sold for August harvesting. They would have taken their children. They would have, been traumatized. And the reality of this situation is that half the people in the West, they only pay attention when it comes to one of their own. And so obviously this is why they wanted to draw the attention to it. Because that is how most people see this. They see Palestinian lives as inferior. They relate more, some people anyway, relate more to the people in Israel just because they've been brainwashed from an early age into thinking that Israel was a safe place for the Jews. It never was a safe place for the Jews. They were very safe where they were. And they were brought into Palestine in order to build an army to... Jewish people will always welcome in Palestine as immigrants, but instead they came as settler colonialists, and religion was weaponized in order to radicalize them into stealing people's home, stealing their lands. This is a battle for life, liberty, freedom, and property rights. So if those are Western values, why do they not expect the Palestinians to have the same rights? And that's what this is all about. It is an apartheid. It is a genocide. It is ethnic cleansing, and it is fully supported by the paycheck of the United States government as a settler colonial project, because Israel wants to take all the land, make it unlivable. They tried to pay $18 million to the Egyptian government to ethnically cleanse them so they could expand the war into Egypt. And because that didn't happen, they're now looking at what type of genocide can they get away with. And remember, we called it Genocide Joe and Holocaust Harris, but it is now Terrorist Trump that is whitelisting all of this, greenlighting this. The operations that are leading to massacres right now, they are U.S. operations that are meant to be delivering aid and allowing Israeli massacres to happen.
Appreciate that, Simon, and I will get back to you in a second. I just want to welcome Dan Bilzerian onto the space. Dan, thanks for joining us. Just to give you a quick update, the Freedom Flotilla, which was on its board towards Gaza, has been apprehended by the Israelis. They've taken control of it. They've kidnapped the people on board who are from France, Sweden, Spain, Holland, Brazil, Turkey, and Greta Thunberg, 20-year-old girl from Sweden as well. They threw some white chemicals onto the ship as well, and then they've taken them. We don't know what they're doing with them. They've cut off all communication and they've gone dark. What's your thoughts on that? They were just merely providing aid. They were going to bring aid, medicine, and like baby formula to the people of Gaza.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's crazy. And you had guys like Dave Portnoy and whatever, begging for missiles to hit them. it's funny. I hear a lot of people like talking about all this stuff about, you know, taking land and whatever, but like nobody's really like mentioning the problem. And the problem to me is so obvious. The problem is Jewish supremacy. Like it's very clear. It's clear as fucking day. You know, and it's preaching their religion, and it's, you know, baked into their country. And so, you know, they don't look at these people as humans, and so this is how they're acting. You know, they're stealing the land, they're persecuting them, they're operating apartheid. And you know, it should come as no surprise. I mean, it's, you know, it's pretty obvious, and everybody's like so scared to say what's going on. You know, they're like tiptoe around it, or they, you know, might say, you know, Zionist, but you know, this isn't really like a Zionist thing. This has been a problem before Israel. Israel is just a manifestation of it. But yeah, it's outrageous, obviously.
Look, make no mistake. This has existed for the last 2,000 years. Okay.
Get into position. They can fire. Those drones can fire. We are right here, surrounded by Israeli drones. Please sound the alarm. Those drones can fire. Please take cover, everyone. Assume position. Please assume position. Everyone,
do it to people from like Europe. Like you normally they think they'll get away with it. I know they've killed Americans before in the past, but it's been like specific incidences. But here they've basically, these are like French citizens, Brazilian citizens. What's your thoughts on that in terms of this kind of this psychology of not really caring what anyone's got to say and then just committing genocide and killing whomever they want?
Well, I mean, I see. I don't know the circumstances of this. I mean, I do know that if you just, you know, take a boat and land in some foreign country without, you know, proper entry, there are issues with that, right? There's
Dan, it's 160 miles off international waters, man. See that?
Oh, they picked them up out at sea?
This is the second time. This is the problem. You and I look at this and go, hey, are you telling me a country is now violating what you and I thought was international waters where I am a citizen am safe? Because I'm so selfish and only interested in myself. This should be a fucking huge issue for every human being.
Oh yeah, I didn't know it was 160 miles off. That makes it way worse. I thought that they caught them like coming in to Gaza.
12 for the audience. 12 to 24 nautical miles is considered international waters by everyone. I mean, like,
yeah. See, and sometimes it's less. I mean, I remember going out to a gambling boat and it was like 5 miles offshore or 10 miles offshore. So yeah, I mean, but 160 miles, I don't think there's anybody that would argue that that's international waters. And so, I mean, that would basically be international piracy or terrorism.
Yeah, and that's another terrorist attack. And you mentioned about Dave Portnoy, and not just him and many others have talked about killing Greta Thunberg, blowing her boat up. And obviously the hypocrisy Dave Portnoy put aside. What's your thoughts about that they have the gall to speak about basically people in this manner and the way they dehumanize anybody who that isn't basically from their own group?
I mean, it's fucking atrocious. I mean, you see them doing